Okay, and we're going to get started. So good evening, everyone. My name is Lynn Irby, and I am the incredibly proud principal of South Orange Middle School. Just a little bit about myself. If those of you who do not know, I was raised in this community. I went to Montrose. It was an elementary school at that time, then went to South Orange Middle. It was actually called South Orange Junior High at the time. I know I'm dating myself. And then I am a graduate of Columbia High School. I spent the bulk of my career working in the Newark Public Schools and then decided to come home to my community. I've been here now for, I think I'm going on 7 years. And I've had an incredible time. I work with the most amazing staff members, the most talented educators that I've ever come across in my entire 25+ year career. So tonight, we are here to talk to you about what middle school is all about and getting ready for success in middle school. Next slide. This next slide is a picture of my 8th grade students under normal circumstances, and that I mean pre-COVID. Every year we take our 8th grade students on an overnight trip to Washington, D.C. And this is one of our incredible pictures with our group. We have an amazing time. Many times we go down there and we meet some Congress people who are from our area. And the kids, we go to the monuments, we go to the museums. They have an incredible time. Next slide. So I've introduced myself, and I'm just going to ask the following people to wave. I'm not sure what the screen looks like on your end, but I have my assistant principals, Mr. James Jennings and Mr. Jim Waldron. Even though on the screen it says James, he's Jim, the other's James. Together they make J squared, and they make me whole. Next slide. Our vision. The South Orange Maplewood School District middle schools will together become the top performing middle level system in the nation by focusing on academic excellence, responsiveness to student needs, and social equity. We will accomplish this by supporting our students to demonstrate academic and personal growth and achieve at their highest levels. Notice I said there, meaning the students. Next slide. I'm going to introduce to you our team leaders, and they'll let you know how our school is set up. We have with us, I'm going to start Miss Lauren Keegan. Can you wave your hand? Miss Jennifer McClure. And Miss Linda Abella, who will talk to you about team leaders. Miss Abella.
Hi, and welcome. I'm so happy that you're getting this peek at middle school. I know this has been a crazy time, but you should know that when the children come in 6th grade, we do break it down into teams, and the teams aren't anything competitive. It's really so that we can take a group of teachers and have them work exclusively with with a group of students. So we'll divide the group up, team A, B, and C. So rather than having 300 students, we have 100 or something to that effect. The letters mean nothing. The fact that my name is Isabella and I'm team A means nothing. It's just the way that the cards fell. So within a team, each team would have a language arts teacher, a social studies teacher. Math teachers are cross-teamed at the moment. And then we also have our guidance department divides by alphabetically, and they'll talk to you. So we meet together to discuss how the students are doing, to plan different activities, to plan some interdisciplinary units. And of course, we always reach out to the parents. If we have a meeting, please don't panic. We do it as a team because we really want to put everyone in the same room to take a closer look at where is the child succeeding, where are they not succeeding, and how can we borrow from one to build up the other. And so that would be the reason why we do that. We do not have meetings all the time, but we are very much in contact with the parents. I do just ask you that, remember, this is definitely a group effort. I always sign off in partnership because that's really what it is. If you work with us and we work together, we can weather everything, and parents will let you know we've done that. So we also have some team activities, and in better times, we hope we can do this in the future. We do a lot of field trips. We've taken them to museums, to the Bueller Science Center, and Miss McClure will go into it in depth later. We do have some assemblies, convocations, and field days. We like to take them out to do activities together, and we also do smaller ones within the science teams and also within the other disciplines. So welcome, Irby.
Hi, my name's Jen McClure. I'm the team leader and science teacher for Team B. So just to kind of expand on what Ms. Abella was just saying about our extended learning opportunities, our field trips. Now, of course, we can't anticipate what's going to happen next year. We hope that everything is relatively back to normal so we are able to attend our really awesome field trips. Each team goes to various places. Sometimes we collaborate and we'll do kind of whole sixth grade events, obviously on different days. We can't always fit 300 kids and 20 or so teachers in the same place. But some of those normal field trips that we hope to go on, we do movie days that usually connect to one of the curriculums that's in one of our classes, whether it's social studies, language arts, science. In the past, we've done Hidden Figures to connect with our science curriculum. We've done Wonder to connect with our English language arts curriculum. We also have the opportunity to partner with SOPAC and we attend some of their performances or even have them come to us, which is really awesome. And we did a virtual SOPAC performance this year. So even if things aren't quite normal next year, we're hoping to do a lot of really awesome virtual things. We have a virtual planetarium that the kids have done. So we do definitely have those options to us if things aren't quite normal. We do field day in June by team, which is just a super fun day for the kids to let loose. We do ice cream, we do games. It's just a really, really fun day to be outside. Like I said, the planetarium, some life skills trips. In the past, we've gone to the Intrepid in New York City. We've gone to Bueller Challenger and Science Center, which is an absolutely amazing field trip that Team C has gone on before, and we're hoping to go there in the future, crossing my fingers because it's an excellent trip for our science department where the kids actually get to engage in a simulated NASA mission. And so it connects with our science curriculum. In addition, we have some events that we partner with our HSA on, including our ice cream social, the Monster Ball for Halloween, our sixth grade social and dance, and then movie nights as well. So we were able to do a virtual movie night this past fall. So we have options.
So just a little bit about our curriculum and the way the day is set up. There are 4 core courses that meet daily, and that's our English language arts, mathematics, science, and social studies. They meet every day for 50 minutes. And then we have our related arts or our electives that meet every other day. We have an A-B schedule and they're in trimesters. So the students get to experience almost all of them. For world language, we have Spanish, and this year we were able to add Mandarin Chinese, which has been very exciting. They have physical education and health, which are 2 separate courses. And then our music ensembles, where we have chorus, band, orchestra. We have drama, and we also have art. So for our English language arts, it's a very rich curriculum, lots and lots of reading. I'm not going to read everything that's on that slide. We partner with Columbia University's Teacher College, the Reading and Writing Project. They come in and their staff developers work with our ELA teachers who then translate all of that with the students. Lots of writing, personal writing, reading class novels, small group novels. We have book clubs, and then independent reading. One of the things we try to do is to encourage our students to pick up a book and read what they like to do. Lots of independent reading projects. This year, we really wanted to get books in the hands of students, and we collaborated with not only the HSA, but our English language arts supervisor, and we gave out over 200 bags of books, and students were able to come in the back parking lot and just pick up a bag of books of things that they like to read. We do a lot of celebrations within our ELA classes, so it's really exciting. And then we also work with our social studies teachers to collaborate. And now for Mr. Jennings and our math offerings.
Excuse me. Good evening. Sixth grade math course offerings. In sixth grade, there are only two levels of math. There's math grade 6 and pre-algebra grade 6. Next slide. Math grade 6 is basically the national curriculum for sixth grade. On the completion of these sixth grade requirements, your student will be prepared for pre-algebra and then move on in seventh grade. Next slide, please. The pre-algebra course is just like for an incoming sixth grader is doing actually 2 years. You're doing the sixth grade curriculum and the pre-algebra curriculum, not simultaneously, but it moves at a much quicker pace, and students have to be really prepared because once they finish that course, they will be prepared to go into algebra on the completion. But it is a lot more work involved, and again, there's 2 years of curriculum that has to be completed. And the other thing is, you know, there are options, and if you haven't met with someone, I think there was a math presentation.
Yes.
And the math presentation explained the difference in the levels. So each student has the opportunity to select the level, the parent anyway. And if you haven't, you should contact the
Principal.
okay, the principal, because I was thinking the supervisor, but okay. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Keegan. I am a sixth grade social studies teacher and the team leader for Team C. I'm just going to quickly go over social studies for sixth grade as a whole. We are a fantastic sixth grade team. Really, really love to collaborate and work with each other. So the curriculum will be the same depending upon, not depending upon which team your child is on. We work together probably daily. Social studies is really exciting because a lot of them haven't had a consistent social studies units throughout elementary school. It's kind of differs depend on what their elementary school was. So we really take the beginning of the year as a way to kind of go back to the foundations of American government. And from there on, we move into what is really considered American history 2. We go to the Civil War and Reconstruction, and we move all the way up to the Civil Rights Movement. This year, with the climate in America, with everything that was going on, we did make it a little bit more of a thematic year, looking at race in America, looking at everything that's going on and with current events, and it was a really successful year. So we're planning on incorporating parts of that into next year, because the kids really, really enjoyed it. We had some really rich discussion. In terms of the content, we really focus on skills. We focus on reading and writing. We connect and collaborate with our language arts teachers often. We also spend time really focusing on their skills. So while, yes, it's important to know the dates of specific battles, and we love all of that, we really focus on their document analysis, their primary and secondary source, reading and writing skills. We do a lot of active reading strategies, Cornell notes, and then we do move and work with the language arts teachers to create a really positive argumentative writing task based on document-based questions that will help them as they continue on through social studies with DBQ writing and lots of different incorporation of primary and secondary sources. I'm super, super excited to get to meet all of your children, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful year. And please definitely just feel free to reach out.
All right, so back to science. As I said before, we have both Miss Abella and I as team leaders and science teachers, joined by Miss Vivekaus, who is on the third team. So we do a lot of different units in science throughout our year. So we start off with the scientific method, and basically we call it kind of how to be a scientist. Our kids coming into sixth grade haven't necessarily had a lot of time committed to science in their earlier years. So we really try to hit them with how do scientists do science? How do they use the scientific method and the scientific process in order to make new discoveries or add to previous discoveries? After that unit, we move into measuring matter. So we do a lot of hands-on labs and skill checks with mass, volume, and density in the metric system. So we get our cross-curricular connections with math often in that unit. then that takes us through about actually the first half of our year, those 2 units. We hit heavily on the scientific method in that first marking period. Then in January, we start to move into heat, energy, and data analysis, again with that cross-curricular math connection with our data analysis. So the students are doing graphing, they're analyzing their data, they're learning to pull information and evidence from their data. That is a huge push for us in 6th grade science, is getting our students to use evidence. And they do it across subjects as well. In social studies, they're pulling evidence from document-based questions, from documents for document-based questions. In language arts, they're supporting their writing with evidence from texts that they read. So it's really this cross-curricular idea that is really strong in science as well. We move into physics. It's actually the unit we're in right now, a little bit later in the year than we normally do it due to the odd situation we found ourselves in. But it's a really fun unit. We talk a lot about sports and activities in that unit. We connect to often the Olympics and really talk about Isaac Newton and forces in motion, which is really, really fun for the kids. And then at the end of the year, we do astronomy, which is probably our most popular unit with the kids. If any of you have older students or have friends with older students, the ET project, the Alien project, is always a wonderful way to cap off our year. It's super creative. The kids get to tap into not only their creative side, but they're also learning research skills in astronomy and throughout all of our units. But we really hit it in astronomy. You know, what have scientists discovered about our solar system, about our universe? And it's a really great way to end out the year. Through all of these units, we are very inquiry based. So this is not, students are not going to be sitting there reading from a textbook or reading articles all the time. We pull in current events very often, but a lot of what we do is hands-on experiences. So they're using scientific tools. They're using graduated cylinders and balances and various little tools that they can model different concepts with throughout physics and astronomy in our units where we are looking at more macro ideas. So it's really exciting for the students. They get, I mean, I would say we're probably doing labs at least once a week in a normal year, if not twice a week. Sometimes we do labs that last for an entire week. So it's really, really exciting for them to get that hands-on experience, and they really, really love it.
Before we move on to world language, I just want to say that we may not get to every question that's in the chat, and we will try to answer them. If we can't, they are being collected, just so you know, and then we will review them, answer them, and make sure they are sent out to the elementary schools. But I do want to answer 2 questions very quickly. The teams, it's per grade level. So there's 3 teams on the 6th grade, 3 on the 7th, and 3 on the 8th. The teachers do not move with them. So your child will be on a different team next year, probably with different kids and different team leaders with a whole set of other teachers. Ms. Keegan, can you also just briefly, really brief, explain what Cornell note-taking is?
Sure. So Cornell note-taking is a skill that we really focus on as they go throughout middle school and into high school. It's basically just separating it into 2 lines. It works much, we haven't done it a lot this year being in the virtual world, but we've seen the effectiveness of the writing the notes just by taking it from a short mini lecture, kind of getting the main idea on the one side and then key vocabulary, other ideas on the second side. It just seems to work well to help them organize their ideas. We're able to kind of, this idea of paraphrasing into notes is a skill that we know a lot of 6th graders need assistance and guidance with. With Ever, I do want you to be aware that really the social studies department models everything almost to the point where the students become just so used to it that they're like Miss Keegan or Miss Dr. Barnhart or Ms. Kong are going to tell us exactly how to do it. So all of these their skills are new to them, and we definitely model them in terms of all of the skills that we're working on.
Thank you. Mr. Jennings?
Again, the world language program, we had the first offering of Mandarin Chinese. Usually the students have Spanish. Again, you should have, the elementary school kids, the 5th graders, should have received some type of questionnaire, what language they wanted to learn. But as a 6th grader, the unit topics, greetings and goodbyes, learning the calendars, numbers up to 100, asking and responding to questions, Personality, physical traits to describe people, nouns to talk about likes and dislikes, activities to talk about likes and dislikes. Very general, but, to get them acclimated so that they can move on in the upper grades. Surveys go out in May. Thank you.
Mr. Waldron,
Good evening. I'm here to talk with the sixth grade
you're
health.
muted.
I'm muted. I'm muted. You cannot hear me?
I can
Nah,
hear
you're
you,
good.
Mr. Waldron.
You're good. You're
I'm
good.
good.
You're good.
Okay,
You're good.
that's what I was wondering. Okay,
Sorry.
sixth grade health. The curriculum is actually going to be rewritten. But again, it is set up in trimesters. So the students receive basically it's put in with the health. There's a component of art and then drama are included in that. So what ends up happening is the health component is one trimester. So it's about 33 day, a little more than 33 days of health that's, for each student. And again, they touch on wellness, the body systems, character education, and nutrition. Sixth grade physical education, very different. It's a full year. We go outside when the weather is great. Obviously, with the COVID situation, being outside would be more beneficial than being inside. Students do change their clothes. And right now with COVID, the locker rooms are closed off. So students have to come in dressed, prepared when they come in the morning to participate. But in situations that are non-COVID, students can go and get changed in the locker room area.
All right, special education. Dr. Melody Agria is the Director of Special Services. Sue Ellis is our supervisor. It gives us access to general education and curriculum for our special ed students. Our case managers are the people who manages the IEPs, work directly with the teachers to make sure the students are receiving what they need in their programs. Consult inclusion pullouts and ABA Autistic MD are some of the programs that we have. The child study team, Dana Francis is the LDTC. Sophia Moy is the school psychologist. Janice Catalano is our social worker. Counseling service, we have Pfizer Salam Goodwin is our social worker, and related services, speech, OT, and PT.
The 504s, they are parallel running. They run parallel with the special ed program. They're a little bit different. They're under a different set of laws. But the one thing is a 504 can offer assistance to a student who has things like ADHD, student who has anxiety, some things that are just slightly different than the IEP-based students. 504s are sent from the elementary school, and each year we'll set up meetings as we start the school year. We look and we triage to see which 504s are immediate, and then as we go through the school year, we add them in, and we have you come in and meet. And again, all 504s are given to the teachers at the start of the year, and we move forward each year all the way through till we get to the high school, and then we pass on to them to continue the 504 process at that level.
At the middle school, we also have a program called iStep. And with that, we have a psychologist, Dr. Michael Zarabi, and an iStep academic intervention teacher who is Dr. Malcolm Lash. And iStep stands for In-School Therapeutic Education Program. And this is a program that provides individual, group, and even family counseling to students with significant social, emotional, and/or behavioral issues, in addition to providing consultation and we work in collaboration with staff members who are working with the student. Again, this presentation will be sent out, and I'll make sure to include a list with our FAQ with everyone's email address if you're in need of further information about some of the programs. Mr. Ezzo.
Hello, everyone. I am Mr. Ezzo. I am the course teacher at South Orange Middle School, and I will be talking to you today just about our fine arts and performing arts and related arts offerings at SOMS. Starting off with the performing arts department, we have in our music department throughout the 3 different grade levels, we have 12 different music ensembles which are offered between chorus, band, and orchestra. Chorus being a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade chorus, a select chorus, which is an audition group, and then our own a cappella group called the Rolling Tones. For our band program, again, we have a band for each grade level and with orchestra. But for our instrumental players, we have an early morning jazz ensemble, and then we also have an early morning string quintet and string orchestra. So throughout your child's experience at the middle school, one of the wonderful things, one of the awesome things that I love is that so many of the students that I get to see and we get to see everyone on their first day of middle school in 6th grade, and so many continue that we get to see them all the way to their last day in 8th grade at graduation. It's something just absolutely amazing. We also have a drama program here at South Orange Middle School, led by Miss Laviola. And in that class, it's a lot of improvisation, it's a lot of whole class play, it's a lot of scene work, it's a lot of filmmaking, tech theater, playwriting, viewing plays, pretty much you name it. It's that whole experience. And we also have an Alvin Ailey dance residency that comes every year, where students in I believe this past year it was 7th and 8th grade, get the opportunity to get pulled out during the school day and have an experience of learning dance during the day. They get to work for a few weeks, and then they put together a presentation. They do a performance at the end of it. In this past 2 years, I believe, was at SOPAC, correct? And it's just coming from a non-arts based community, the even just the musical and performing arts, offerings at the middle school blew even my high school out of the water, and it's absolutely tremendous. I love it. The next slide, please. We also have visual arts, and all of the performing and related arts fall under the supervisor, James Mano. We have Art 2D and Art 3D. Art 2D, it uses the creative process to explore a lot of 2-dimensional things like drawing, painting, printmaking, and mixed media. And Art 3D explains and works with a lot of sculpture-based things. So that's your clay, that's your plaster, that's your found objects, your paper mache, that sort of stuff. And that's it. We're good.
I'd like to introduce our guidance counselors. Now, Stephanie Prawl, I don't believe she's here. She's actually on maternity leave, but we have an incredible leave replacement guidance counselor, Miss Lauren Walsh, who will speak to you. We also have Paul Singh about the counseling program, because she will be the one to get your 5th graders going. Miss Walsh?
Yes, hello everybody. So I'm Lauren Walsh. I'm covering for Ms. Prawl for the remainder of the school year. Mr. Singh will be presenting shortly. The school counselors do break up the caseload of students by last name. So Ms. Prawl will be A through K and Mr. Singh will be L through Z. The school counseling program, we are here to support students' academic, social, and emotional well-being. We collaborate very closely with teachers, parents, administration. We do participate in weekly team meetings, so we work closely with teachers to gather any concerns that might be going on and directly reach out to students and families to help provide that extra support. We are here to listen to students, create a safe space, and then offer solutions to help them and support them throughout their time here at SOMS.
Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Singh. I'm very excited to meet the upcoming 5th graders. And just a little bit of information on this slide has to do with what we do in the classroom. So at the beginning of the year, Ms. Prawl and I work together with the teachers to come up with lesson plans that they might go over in class. For example, time management. Another example was stress relief. So if you look through the bullet points, you can read that as you will. But typically what we do, this is just a slide to describe, we also go into the classrooms. Beyond speaking to students individually, we also do group work in small groups as well as across the school. And essentially, we are more than happy to be in any part of the building and meet with any student. And if you have any questions for us whatsoever, we are definitely a resource that you can feel free to reach out to.
So with our health and wellness at SOMS, our nurse is Mr. Keith Turpin, and the goal of the health office is to support student education. He will be the one that will be reaching out to all of you, making sure that we have all the health records, all the sixth grade stuff that's supposed to come in. He cares for our students, regular nursing procedures, health screenings. He will be the one to reach out to you again if your child has any medical issues, an EpiPen. He trains all the teachers in how to use an EpiPen, on making sure that there are extra nebulizers in the health office. Everything you could need. He will go into the classroom and he teams up with our health educators to do lessons. I call this, all that you have just heard, our student support team. Most schools don't have it, but we do. And that includes the administrators, the guidance counselors, the nurse, the social workers, someone from the child study team, just to make sure that we are all supporting your kids. Next slide. Ms. Steiner and Ms. Goodwin.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Faja Goodwin. I am one of the social workers in the building. I provide counseling to the students with IEPs, and usually it's an individual or group setting. During group counseling, a lot of times, and individual, we discuss social skills, executive functioning. We touch on anxiety. We also talk about mood issues and being able to regulate ourselves. I also am an overlap to the guidance counselor. So if they're not available, I may see a student that does not have an IEP as support. I'm here to collaborate, of course, with the parents and the teachers as well, to implement strategies inside the classroom, outside as well. And I'll give it to Ms. Steiner.
Hi all, and I'm Allison Steiner. I'm another one of the social workers here. My area of focus is on supervising interns. This past year, we grew our program to a very robust size. We have 9 interns at South Orange Middle School. They are graduate students who have completed their undergraduate education and are getting their master's in social work. They are all interested in either counseling or running programming at schools, and that's really what we focus on. While Ms. Goodwin focuses on children with IEPs and then just doing backup and supporting the guidance counselors, the interns focus on, generally speaking, focus on children who are in the general ed population, and doing rather similar types of counseling support that Ms. Goodwin was talking about. And then also, we run a lot of climate initiatives in the schools. So for instance, anti-bullying things, creating programs such as the Week of Respect, doing ongoing bullying initiatives and advisory period, and then what I call of the moment issues. So those are things that are like a current event that has had an impact on our community or in the country. So for instance, Ms. Goodwin and I were up at 6 o'clock this morning together, helping to write support for our teachers who may have wanted to or had the need to reflect on issues that are happening in the news right this week. We worked with other people on the team, including Ms. Irby, but it's something that we do together, or it could be also something that happens right in our community. So helping to support teachers who are helping children who have experienced a loss or a negative event that happens in the community. And we do things that are just very immediate sometimes, doing grade-wide or school-wide assemblies, providing scripts for teachers or discussions, and then sometimes even coordinating a district-wide response. I'm going to just hijack for a quick second because I know that we have a strict program, but Ms. Irby and I discussed this, and I wanted to just make it clear As a social worker, I know you're getting a ton of information today. And I know that we've all also been through quite a year and we're all feeling different kinds of things. But this student support team is so tight. We love your children so much. They are our children. As Miss Irby has trained us, any child that works through this school is our child. Like I said, I was up at 6 a.m. with Miss Goodwin working on things for your children. Mr. Singh and Miss Walsh and I call each other constantly. We are in and out of each other's offices. There is never a moment that a child is in our school upset that there isn't somebody reaching out to support them. Now at home, we need you to let us know, but we want you to know that next year, when you send us your fifth graders, they become family, you become family. And we care so much and they're gonna be fine. We have years of experience. We've had a year of this experience and we're gonna do this together to help them to have a wonderful year next year. Sixth grade is awesome. It really is magical. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you for that. We're going to break away from that, but I will go back to it because everything Ms. Steiner said is super important to me, and it's really my why I do what I do. But let's go into a typical day in middle school. Now, what I'm going to describe is a typical day in a typical year, pretending, or hopefully if there's no COVID, if we are back to our normal circumstance, whatever normal now looks like. Our doors open at 8:12. All of the sixth grade students meet in the back of the school because that's where you can easily drop them off, because I know what it's like. In sixth grade, you aren't going to want to just drop off. You want to watch them walk to the door. And I want you to see our faces, the administrators back there waving to you and welcoming the students in. School starts at 8:20, and I always let my sixth graders in a little bit earlier so they can get acclimated, find out where they're going. Again, they go through their 4 core classes during the day. They have 2 related arts periods during the day. So they might have gym in the morning and chorus in the afternoon, depending on the trimester. There are 30 minutes for lunch if we're going to be in the cafeteria. Nice large cafeteria. There's a sandwich line. There's a pizza line. There's a hot food line. Or some students elect to bring their food. Because we are so blessed to have all this outdoor space near SOMS. After this children eat, depending on the weather, we go outside because as sixth grade students, and I do it with my 7th graders and we do it with the 8th graders, we like to take them outside, stretch their legs, and just get to know them better. There's also what's called a rotation period at the end of the day, and it depends on the day of the week. So for instance, if I had science on first period on a Monday, last period of the day, I'm going to rotate back to first period and I'm going to get just a little bit more. And my teacher is going to make sure that everything that was taught first period of the day, that I can go a little bit deeper, that I understand what I need to do for homework that night. Dismissal is at 3:05, but we have so many optional after school programs that I'm hoping your children will not walk out the door at 3:05, but instead stay with us. Next slide. So some of our after school activities, we have Students for Social Change. We have a No Place for Hate Club, and I'll go into that in a minute. We have our MLK Club. We have Spectrum Club, all of these fabulous things, and I'll go into a few of them a little bit more. But our HSA sponsored activities. One of the things that we have, which is a No Place for Hate, and we really want to make sure that it's robust next year. Didn't really have a chance to do much with it, as with all of our after school activities. A few years ago, we worked with the Anti-Defamation League, and we went through a process to become a certified No Place for Hate school. And they came to visit us. The students who worked on the initial committee actually went to events with the ADL in New York City. It was fabulous because a lot of our local rabbis, they supported us and even went to some of the events. We always say, and your children will hear this, we are a school of upstanders and not bystanders. And when they see something, they need to let us know. And I'm telling you, we find out everything that's going on. So we always tell her, and sometimes we have a box in the main office and they can just drop a note in if they need to be anonymous. But we have developed such strong relationships that I can guarantee you there's going to be at least one adult, if not many more, that your child really trusts and will go to and let them know if there is a problem. Next slide. We have our youth net clubs. I'm not sure if they're in elementary schools, but this is an extended enrichment program in the middle school, and there's so many clubs. What happens is that our teachers, they find that hidden passion, and anyone new, they'll tell you, I've asked them, so what's your other passion? Because everyone has one. And so we have often had a knitting club. We have a Minecraft club, whatever this teacher likes. And as long as we can get the students involved, we have that sort of club. There's a fall offering, winter offering, and spring offering. The sessions are about 6 weeks. And for $50, you have unlimited access. So if your child wanted to do a different club 4 days a week, they can absolutely do that. And there's also lots of scholarships available. This is a really great thing. I've actually run our own dance club, not through YouthNet, but I did it one afternoon. You will receive all of that information as well. Next slide. One of the biggest things that we do is our all-school musical. And when I tell you it is fabulous, and I apologize that I didn't have an opportunity to put the slide together, but I will send your elementary schools and ask them to blast it out, the flyer. This year, we have a virtual musical of Alice in Wonderland. And we're filming this weekend to be streamed the following weekend. We had a stage crew who actually built props, and they scouted out areas they're going to be filming in a park. We stayed 6 feet apart. We practiced outside for the last 2 weeks. Every year, I try to participate in the musical. A couple of years ago, I was in it, and I came out on stage, and I put my tap shoes on, and I danced with the kids, and they loved it, and I loved it. I think I stayed on the stage probably 1 minute too long, and they wanted to pull me off, but that's okay. I'm going to get in the musical next year. Next slide. Ms. Steiner, can you talk about Achieve Tutoring?
Yes. So Achieve Tutoring is something that you're probably available because it is something you're probably familiar with because it's available in the elementaries as well. It's a great program. It is no cost tutoring provided to around 40 to 100 children. It depends on the year in our school. The people who are the tutors range from community members to Seton Hall students who are studying to be teachers, Columbia High students who are coming back to help tutor our students, and then sometimes 8th graders working with 6th graders. It's a wonderful experience for everyone. For children, it gives them a chance to reinforce skills, to have it's a lot of it is executive function work, so it's just helping them stay organized, helping them make sure that they've done their homework, that they submit their homework, that they have it ready to go. And then for your older children, if you have 8th graders or when you have 8th graders, it's a wonderful experience for them to both reinforce what they've learned as well as just feel that they're giving back. It's something we work really hard in the school, and it really is a wonderful thing. So, yeah.
Mr. Ezzo, time to show off.
Right. Time to show off. There is a time limit that I know we do have tonight because the night will end when we do have to go to bed. So I can't list all of the awards and all of the things and honors that we pull in every year. But it's kind of insane. We have a model UN club that meets and has traveled to, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. The cats did not like me talking. I'm sorry. We have a model UN club that travels to New York and travels to other competitions. We have a science fair every single year. And as a music teacher, that is my favorite thing to go to because I love seeing all of these just awesome things that the kids come up with and seeing them so passionate about like a subject and talk to me and teach me a lot of things over the years. We have from the music department, we have a lot. This past year, even in our our current situation and whatnot. The choir program took part in a national sort of coalition and national sort of project, recording and producing a media spectacle of Lift Every Voice and Sings, which was amazing. We have brought in over the past 8 years the top marks whenever we go to our music competitions at Six Flags. I know that the band and orchestra have a regional band and orchestra competition that they participate in every year. The choir department has traveled across the Eastern Seaboard competing, and just SOMS we always bring home the gold. This is kind of like what we do, and it is amazing to see. It's beautiful. Next slide, please.
I'm really not sure if in the elementary schools, Ms. Steiner, you can tell me if they have Power School. But Power School, there is a parent portal where everything you want will be right in there. You can check your child's attendance. You can check their grades. Their report card grades are in there. But don't worry, we will give you all that information and make sure that you know how to access Power School. Next slide. I cannot say enough about our HSA, our Home and School Association. I encourage you to please join. They are absolutely phenomenal. When we first had the idea of going to Washington, D.C., they looked at me like I was crazy, and I said, no, we can do it. And then they said, yes, we can. And I said, I want every child who wants to go to Washington, D.C. to be able to go. They raised over $10,000, which went to scholarships for students to attend this trip. They handle book fairs. We have SOMS merchandise. They do weekly newspapers, weekly newsletters. They fund many field trips and assembly programs. They give teacher grants on Teacher Appreciation Week. They feed us. So many great things that they do for the community. Next slide. So you need to join them. If you can quickly take a picture of that email, and then you can get on the roster even ahead of time, and they will certainly reach out to you. Next slide. So what happens between now and September? It really depends on the climate. We are already prepared and have it completely filmed to send to you a virtual tour of the building. Under normal circumstances, we have an actual tour where the kids come from their elementary schools and they tour the building. Not sure if that will happen before June, but possibly in the summer. I want the kids in here, but I just want you to know, do not worry. If it's the first day of school, and we take a tour, for instance, my sixth graders, we had a hybrid setting that started today. Those students who it was their first time, the first half hour, I took them on a tour of the building. You'll get music choice forms. You'll get your language choice forms. Student schedules will be prepared. They will be available to you in Power School. There'll be a supply list that is posted, general supply list. We will reach out to your school. Guidance counselors will reach out. We'll make sure that the math level that you have chosen, that it's the right one. These are just some general supplies of what we look for in sixth grade. Depending on if we use lockers, they'll need 2 locks. And I promise you, we teach them how to use their locker, because that's one of the biggest things for sixth grade. And believe it or not, it causes the most anxiety if they are there their first day and cannot get their lock. So by the end of June, I hope to let you know if we're using lockers, and I would encourage you to start this summer letting them open their locker. Next slide. Again, this slide is thinking that we're all coming back. What does the first day of school look like? My sixth graders will come into the cafeteria. You will wave goodbye. They will be with me in the cafeteria for a convocation. They will meet with me. They will meet with the assistant principals. They will meet with guidance. They will meet with the support staff. The nurse will come down and meet with them. Everyone they need to know will come and greet them. There'll be a special orientation where each teacher will take the first couple of hours, again, to walk them through how to read a schedule, where each thing is. They're going to take them to all of their classes. They're even going to give them a map and say, this is the easiest and quickest route to your class, because the building is large and the students do only have 3 minutes, but I promise you parents, they make it. We have lunch. There is breakfast. And like I said, the after school programming. Next slide. I'm going to just leave this picture up and you can scroll through them, but I just want to say a couple more things. You heard Ms. Steiner say, we call your kids our children. And I hope that doesn't offend anyone, because I really look at them as our kids. And when I go to hire someone, the very last thing I ask them is, can you love my children? Because that's what's most important. I'll get the curriculum to them. I'll make sure they can read. I'll make sure they can write. I'll make sure they can multiply. But it's so important that I need to make sure that their well-being, that they are okay. And with that, parents, you're trusting us, because when it comes to middle school, your kids are actually going to spend more awake time with us than they probably will with you. And you need to trust us. And I'm telling you, these are some of the fun activities we do in 7th grade that you can trust us. We are going to care for your children. We are very involved. Last year in the pandemic, the administrators and a team of incredibly dedicated teachers, we delivered graduation signs to 265 8th grade students, personally taking pictures with them. Just last week, we had 8th graders that won a scavenger hunt, and the administrators went and delivered pizza to those kids. So we have those sort of interactions. Ms. Steiner didn't brag enough on our intern programs. We had kids this year with school refusal. I can't come in, I can't talk to anyone. And you know what we said? We'll come to you, and we'll meet in your backyard. Just give me a chair, or we'll meet on your front porch. And now those kids are participating. That's who we are. We are going to love your children. You're going to get those phone calls from me that say, this is your proud principal. Good afternoon, SOMS family, because we become a family. I'm very protective of our kids. We do a lot for our kids. We become involved. My newest thing, Miss Keegan, I don't know if you're still here. Tell them what my newest activity is that I'm teaching the kids.
I have to say, coming back from hybrid has been a challenge, and in walks Miss Irby Monday, because cohort A, with her jacks. And I have seen, coming back from maternity leave this year, I saw smiles on my first, second, and third periods faces, and now they're asking their parents to buy them jacks to have a tournament with Miss Irby, and she's onesies and twosies, and I saw personalities that I have not seen. And they every day, is Miss Irby coming back in? Is Miss Irby coming back in? Cohort B, they're waiting for it. She loves your children, and she expects that of her teachers. And I can tell you the 6th grade team does just that. So we are very excited, and we have a fantastic support staff with administrators, and everyone is wonderful.
I try to do things so kids will put down the cell phone. And, I used to play jacks when I was a kid. Now, half of the kids didn't even know what jacks were. So they quickly looked it up. This is how I teach you. You got to look it up. And then I brought my jacks and I taught them how to play. So now I walked in the room. I'm like, who's ready to play? I felt a little bad because I took away 5 minutes of their instructional time. But it's that bonding that we do. We started our Ailey residency with West African dance. I changed my clothes. I was exhausted by the end of that session, but I do it with the kids. The guys, they go down, all of us. We play basketball with the kids. I still think I'm the LeBron James of South Orange Middle School. We won't let Mr. Jennings unmute that, because LeBron James is the best basketball player ever to walk the face of this earth. But anyway, he's not allowed to comment because he'll argue with me. But I'm saying all that to say that I'm a humble administrator. My passion is to interact with your children and to let them know the possibilities are that I have so many relationships with former students because of that connection that we have. I'm always going to be honest with you, even if it's not what you want to hear. When I make a mistake, when we make a mistake, because we are not perfect, but we will say, okay, and we're going to move on and get better at it the next time. We will communicate with you. I will answer emails. Give me a minute in case they're flooding in. We will answer your phone calls. My teachers are incredible. The 6th grade teachers are the warmest you could ever imagine. So I hope that this lessens your anxiety a little bit. There was one last question. Yes, we will be sharing this. I'm going to send it out once the recording is done. As far as assessing students, because we know that there was some learning loss. I don't want you to worry about that. When they come in, We will find out where they are. We will fill in those gaps. We may not get rid of the curriculum, but we'll adjust the pacing. We're not going to say, oh, you didn't get multiplying fractions, we're just going to move on anyway. We're not going to do that. And just so you know, I also humble enough and I work with the kids to what's your weakness or that you think is your weakness, and let's do something. I go into and I take a seventh grade math class every day. And the kids think it's hilarious, but I'm like, you know what? I can't be afraid of math anymore. And I'm going to get in here and I'm going to do my assignments with you. Miss Keegan and I are both going to take a different class next year. But that's really about it. We're going to support you, families. We support you. Whatever you need, we're here for you. And I hope that this lessened any anxiety. There will be another presentation, probably I think in the middle of May, where we have a school in action night, and you'll be invited again to come back and you'll get to see what our kids do. And it'll be an event where you just watch and you'll see what the chorus does and you'll see what the drama kids do and you'll see what goes on in the classroom. We put on presentations, usually that's in person, but just like last year, this year, it'll be virtually. I guess that's it. I'm on time. Look at that, 7:57. I told you panelists, it would only be an hour. Parents, I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you for taking out your time to hear about South Orange Middle School. We are fabulous. And I believe that because, again, I work with the most extraordinary people ever. And everyone is out on our team. My custodians are part of our team. Our cafeteria workers are part of our team. Why? Because they're all here for you, for your children. That is our purpose. That is our passion. So again, I want to thank you. I thank you, Mr. Bonds, for always being here to get our technology together. Thank you, panelists. I know many of you have children to go get to bed and things that you want to do because I have to see you first thing in the morning. So I guess that's it. Thank you and welcome to South Orange Middle School. Bye-bye.